Somehow, Palpatine has returned as an exclusive minifigure inside of the LEGO Star Wars Character Encyclopedia Updated Edition for 2025. This one retails for $22, and if you do end up wanting to buy one, I have them available on my website, MandRshop.com, with the link in the description below. Now, the cover on this one is kind of interesting. It is Ahsoka from the Ahsoka show, but there was actually a fan vote in late 2024 between Pilot Luke, C-3PO, and Ahsoka here. It's not really a surprise to me, that Ahsoka one. I do, however, think, given everything that's been going on since the last Character Encyclopedia dropped, the Mandalorian and Grogu would have really been a great choice. Looking at the back cover real quick though, it looks like Luke Skywalker was still able to make an appearance, and it does say that inside you're going to discover more than 250 minifigures from the LEGO Star Wars galaxy. So this doesn't really cover all of them. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 1,400 unique LEGO Star Wars minifigs, so you're not getting that here. Now, perhaps more important than the actual pages of the book to many people is going to be the exclusive Emperor Palpatine minifig from the Rise of Skywalker, something I never thought we would see, but even crazier than the minifig maybe is the fact that LEGO has just left the front of the book wide open for anyone to touch the minifig on a store shelf. So who knows how many kids are going to touch your figure at a random store before you end up getting it, if you do end up buying it in a physical store. I just think that's a little bit odd. I don't know quite how to feel about that. Maybe you're indifferent about it, but it just feels weird. I can kind of try to reason through why LEGO did it this way though. When they included their first minifig in a LEGO Star Wars Visual Dictionary in 2009, they just used a plastic cover insert, and that worked fine. You could see the minifig in there. There was a bit of a theft problem where people would come along, or kids, who knows, would take the minifig out, and then you could just tell that the minifig was gone and not included in your book. Well, as part of LEGO's big old green movement trying to save the earth, they switched everything over and got rid of their plastic from that packaging, and so they just covered it up with the Darth Maul last year in that 25th anniversary book. So the front just showed a picture of the minifig, and then inside it was just sealed off, and so you couldn't tell that a minifig was inside or not. And while I'm sure you could shake the book around to hear if the minifig was inside, it just wasn't apparent whether or not your minifig was literally stolen or not. And so this must be what LEGO considers to be the happy medium to holding your minifig in place with these books going forward. Now, you may be concerned that with this front end wide open, you could just come along and take the minifig out of the front. However, if you look closely at the neck, there is actually a piece of paper holding him down, and it seems to do a pretty good job. It's really hard to get your fingers in there to actually try to pull at the Palpatine minifig, so I don't think it's something you have to worry about where people could come along and theoretically rip the figure out. I don't think you can do that, but I'm trying my hardest here. Getting the minifig out the proper way isn't exactly a cakewalk either, because it's not like an obvious thumb tab to push and pull. Well, I was kind of hoping to keep the sticker in good condition, but I don't think that's going to happen here. So you pull that out of your way, and then you can access the pull tab. So just like that. Is it a double layered? Oh my goodness. They have gone all out with their security so that people don't steal this Palpatine figure. Anyways, inside of here, you're going to find some lightning, which is different than the lightning they've been using. We'll circle back to that in a minute. And then you have the actual insert with Palpatine, which I think you just want to take the whole insert out. Yes, there we go. So this is what actually holds him in place here. So you can see it's a bit more complicated than you may imagine. With the Palpatine minifig in hand, I was kind of surprised that they use white as his skin color. Just looking at the images, I originally thought it was going to be light gray, but yeah, it's definitely white now that it's in hand. His actual robes and hood piece are fantastic. The red contrasts nicely with the black, always a great color combo. The back of him is quite bland, but there's an adequate amount of detailing going on there. And then we get to the face. So you've got plenty of wrinkles. He looks awful in a good way, in that way at least. Where he actually looks awful is the eyes. So there's basically two Palpatine faces from the Rise of Skywalker that I was able to find. One where he's got these decrepit cataract looking eyes where you can't really make out any discernible pupil, and then one later in the movie where he's got clearly some yellow Sith eyes with black pupils in the middle. Well, the LEGO Star Wars minifig guy decided that we shouldn't have pupils on our minifigs anymore, and so I think that makes this in particular look really bad. He would look so good with the proper black dot in the middle like they've done for tons of minifigs in the past, but because this one has yellow eyes, we're not allowed to have that. I think that just ruins what could have been a really great figure here. If you still like it, you still like it. That's awesome, but I think it really detracts from this minifig. Also, there's a second face on this one. I saw someone say it looks like an uwu face, and I can't unsee that, and now you probably can't either, if you know what that is at least. The other thing with this figure is his lightning pieces are quite different than than what LEGO has been using for Palpatine for a long time, but I actually think it was a really smart choice because I think it better represents Palpatine's lightning in The Rise of Skywalker, where he points to the sky and just takes down all of the ships with this bright blue lightning that obviously can't extend forever with a LEGO piece, but having it be a longer LEGO piece with a brighter blue color, I think just fits for this particular movie. I don't think they should use this in every case for Palpatine going forward, but for Rise of Skywalker Palpatine, I really do think this was the correct piece to use for lightning, and I actually really like that change. All right, it's time to do some reading. I'm not really sure how in depth to go on a book like this. I don't think I've ever actually reviewed a character encyclopedia for LEGO Star Wars, but we'll just kind of flip through, and if anything catches my eye, I will point it out. I mean, they start with Young Jedi Adventures, which I guess is nice to get out of the way because I do not care about it. I think they try to go in movie order, basically, or chronological order, because we're going from Young Jedi Adventures to Phantom Menace here, and so we should see episode 2 pick up right after this. So Jar Jar, Queen Amidala, looks like they hit all of the big ones for the Phantom Menace. Maybe not Watto. Watto probably would have been nice to see in the book. You got some battle droids, but yeah, we're starting to get kind of a mixture here of eras. It's not necessarily going to follow one-to-one. Darth Maul here, and they kind of point out some of the other cooler variants of Darth Maul down below. You got Obi-Wan from episode 2 with the Star variant being the yellow version from 2002. Anakin, Jango Fett. Too bad this book didn't release, I don't know, a couple months later. Could have had the new UCS Jango Fett shown there with the new rangefinder. It's always going to be a problem with books like this. They come out every 5 years, I think, and so just no matter what, you're going to end up like one cycle off of having the newest version of a few of the characters within the book. A couple of the other older Jango Fett variants shown off at the bottom, but yeah, got a bunch of Jedi on our next page. Mace Windu with arm printing there from 2022. Jedi General in 2021. Mace Windu flies aboard the Ultimate Collector Series Republic gunship with a clone commander. That's a very funny thing to point out there. Next, we've got the Clone Trooper page. We got some animated versions, some more movie realistic versions, and I like that they point this out. Did you know minifigures released in LEGO Clone Wars sets have been designed with a cartoon feel, which doesn't happen anymore, unfortunately. They used to have a distinct vibe between the Clone Wars and the movie version of a clone, and now they're just a mixed thing, and it's kind of sad that it's lost its flair in that way. So yeah, anyway, Count Dooku, Ahsoka. I didn't read all of these pages ahead of time, so maybe you can pause and read what you like. There's a few things that I might point out. There's also usually some errors in these books. It unfortunately does happen. This is one of my least favorite pages here. Got the terrible Commander Fox, terrible Captain Rex, and I love that they point out this. This is going to be very useful when I eventually make a video about how LEGO Star Wars ruined clone troopers. Visor worn only by LEGO Star Wars clone commanders. So nice thing to point out there. Phase 1 Wolf, love him. Commander Gree, I feel like is the clone trooper people want the most right now, just judging from comments that I see and when I do my streams on whatnot, what people are looking to purchase. Commander Gree is just something everybody wants, which is, I don't know, it strikes me as odd because they've made him a few times. He's not particularly impossible to find. You know, he's mass-produced. So, yeah, General Grievous, another character that a lot of people want to see in a new set. Saw's Ventress, one that is coming in a new set this summer. I do like that basically every page has this little did you know thing. It's been so long since I looked through the last version of the Minifig Encyclopedia. I'm sure they had something similar then, but it's something that I do love. This is a good Clone Trooper page, I'll tell you that. This has all of the good ones. A lot of 2005 era ones, but also the peak 2020 Airborne Trooper. I'm so glad that they were able to put that one there. You've got one of the good pilots from 2014 there. Really probably should have used the newer ARC 170 pilot, but they used the V-Wing pilot here from 2014. Got the 327th Trooper, which we should be seeing a new version of in 2025. Kind of interesting again. They used that 212th Trooper picture, but that is nothing like what the 212th helmet actually looks like. I like this one. They actually show the figure exclusive to the book, so that's nice. The hooded minifigure depicts Emperor Palpatine in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, Sith Lightning. Belt decoration echoes Darth Vader's minifig. I honestly think it's weird to point out that his white hands are unique to this variant. I mean, yeah, is it the only Palpatine ever with white hands? Sure. But do you have to like say that? I don't know. I guess they're just trying to scratch and claw for like extra stuff to say about the figures to fill space and make it interesting. So fair game, I suppose. But yeah, I'm sure there's more weird ones if I really looked into it. Looks like we've got the Bad Batch included in this one. We are missing Omega, but of course she gets her own entire page. Next to Cad Bane from the Bad Batch as well, pointing out the Justifier, Toto 360. I like that. Yeah, they kind of covered everything from the Bad Batch in one go here. there. That's pretty solid. So it's nice because these are newer characters. I like that they're able to get them into this newer book all together there. You get some older Clone Wars variants of Cad Bane shown below. Ooh, the Solo movie, so underrated. Got way too much hate. Love that movie. A lot of the figures from this are great. These are particularly expensive too. I cannot believe how expensive they became because the TIE Fighter was fairly well done and sold well, but the Imperial Conveyance Transport did not so well, and it was on clearance, and so that's kind of interesting there. But moving on, more Solo figures, actually a lot more Solo. So wow, a lot more Solo stuff than I would have imagined. Maybe they did not... Dang, it's like 8 pages of Solo stuff. Wow. Maybe they need to bring back some Solo sets for Lego Star Wars. Holy crap. Maybe that's what they're hinting at here. The Kenobi show stuff. Oh, the Kenobi show gets a sad 1 page, and the Solo movie gets like 8 pages. Kanan Jarrus from Rebels, more Rebels. Oh, they don't show the new Thrawn? It's only going to be the old Thrawn? That's kind of sad. Maybe he's on another page. I just thought they'd put both Thrawns on the same page. Andor represented, of course, Andor Season 2 dropping soon, so you won't get any of the new stuff and mix that with Rogue One. I love that they point out the bronze Boba Fett. They also point out the Cloud City Boba Fett with the arm and leg printing from 2003, so that's pretty neat. And then, obviously, when they changed the figure up drastically in 2010 there. So, yeah, it's a pretty solid Boba Fett original trilogy page. There's a whole page for Ewoks in here. That's really sick. I bet they had this in one of the older books. Like I said, it's just been so long since I would have flipped through it. I haven't even thought about it. Oh, that is a horrible quality picture. They couldn't have done anything better. It's so blurry. Like they could have just Photoshop something from one of my reviews. Jeez, like that's a terrible picture. Obviously, the Mandalorian pages here would not have been in the last version of this book, so a lot of brand new stuff here. Full page of different Mandalorian warriors is pretty cool, kind of explaining some of the differences between them. I like that. Queel gets his own page, and the Mythrol. Wow, both from the UCS Razor Crest. I'm surprised there's not like a call out to that set on that particular page. Cara Dune. Wow, that's almost surprising that they even included her. I kind of felt like Lego would try to just, maybe we don't put her in this book. Nice to see Grief Karga here with his whole page and the variant version of him. I'm not seeing an updated Thrawn figure. Wow, why would they not, show both variants of Thrawn? I will say I was very disappointed when I got to this minifigure mashups page, which is okay. I understand, I guess the name is mashups, but Jedi Bob is not in this book. I was a little sad that, finally got him back, and you're not going to put him in your character encyclopedia to explain Jedi Bob and how great he is. I don't know, man. He could have had his own page here at the end or something. No Jedi Bob at all here. So that's all the Rebuild the Galaxy stuff, because it goes Episode 9, Rebuild the Galaxy. Ooh, a little Old Republic. Rebuild the Galaxy, and then it's just over. So I just, no Jedi Bob makes me a little bit sad. But it is cool that they show off at least a few of the Rebuild the Galaxy characters. And so that is the end of the book there. Shows Darth Vader at the end. Another shot of Palpatine on the back. For $22, you get the whole book with the Rise of Skywalker Palpatine minifig. I feel like it's a pretty fair value as far as Lego Star Wars books go. Pretty on the money. They haven't gone and increased the price on these crazily like they have with a lot of sets and things. If you liked what you saw, I think it's worth picking up. But, if you're not into the Rise of Skywalker Palpatine and this is not the type of book that, at least if you're someone like me and you're a collector, you're ever really going to dig into. I think whenever you want to research minifigs, you usually go online. Nobody actually... I think this is best for kids, and then the collectors are probably wanting that minifig. So if you don't want that minifig, well, then don't buy it. That's how I would kind of view this one. So overall, decent book, couple qualms, but, I'm not really going to promptly open this one up again. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, and you can purchase one right now with the link in the description below from MandRshop.com.